What would you do if this assignment of defense was transferred to you?
I promise you brilliant successes.
Ooh, this one looks pretty epic. Joaquin Phoenix stars in the latest cinematic tale of the notorious military leader and French ruler, Napoleon. The new film is directed by Ridley Scott, covering Napoleon's battles and rise to power. It's got full cavalry, it's got sword fighting, and everything that comes with the luxury of royalty in the Napoleonic era. And now we have our own cinematic royalty, Jackson Weaver and Eli Glasner. So let's talk a little bit about this. We'll start with you, Eli. How does this film tackle such a huge historical figure?
We don't get movies like this anymore, to be honest, Travis. Like, think Lawrence of Arabia, think Cleopatra. Like, this is big, this is vast. We're talking decades of this man's life, from the early military successes all the way to the exile on the end. And I'll tell you, like, Jackson's done his homework. Going in, I knew, like, the character. I knew, okay, short guy, tri-cornered hat, Emperor of France, cast a big shadow. The trailer for this $200 million plus film gives us kind of what you'd expect, complete with the rock song droning in the background, a sense of Napoleon's ego, his appetite, his ambition. Take a look.
Those in power only see me as a brute, unfit for higher office.
Just like witches at black masses.
But I follow in the footsteps of Alexander the Great and Caesar.
So I think that's kind of what you'd expect, right?
Yeah.
Like I am the next Alexander. But what is, I think, frustrating about this is that this Napoleon is, to be generous, an enigma, and to be a little more blunt, a cipher. Like, it really is a beguiling performance. Now, we do see the military genius. It starts right off with he's, I guess, a general, and he's storming some fortress that needs to be recaptured. But it does feel like, for all his accomplishments, Napoleon seems passive. It's not that he's doing things, he's acquiescing. Oh, the public are fighting for their so-called rights. We need to put them down. Napoleon, will you push them back with the king? Napoleon, will you help lead us? Napoleon, will you become our king? So again and again, he's like just stumbling higher and higher until this moment where he is literally crowned king and grabs the crown, and you hear kind of the gasps. Take a look.
I found the crown of France in the gutter. I picked it up with the tip of my sword and cleaned it and placed it atop my own head.
And like Jackson, like, I don't know, the energy even of that moment. Like, is he in awe? Is he numb? It's such a weird, like, frequency that Joaquin Phoenix is working at.
I mean, I'm honestly a little bit angry at this movie because, as you said, I did my homework. I saw this coming up in the schedule. Right. I'm like, I got to read everything. There's two big books about him. Napoleon, A Life, by one guy, Adam Zamoyski, another guy, Andrew Roberts. And they do what all of the different Napoleonic stories try and do. They try and figure out, is this guy great or is he evil? Some people think he was great. Some people think he was bad. These books look at, like, the for and against. There's literally a book called Napoleon For and Against from 1940s comparing him to Hitler. You go back to the time of Napoleon. Eli, I got to disagree with you. You said one of the things you knew about him was that he was short. He was not short.
He wasn't short?
No. Okay, how short was he?
He was 5'7". He was taller. He was taller than most people.
I am Napoleon.
The reason we think that is there was a trolling campaign by the British. They had newspapers out. They called him Little Boney. But at the same time, you know that famous painting on the horse with his hand up?
Yes.
That's also propaganda.
Those details would have been... I would love something in the film where the British are making fun of his height and someone says, like, no, look, he's not... I'm just as tall, but you never get that kind of explanation.
But what you do get, like, going back almost 100 years ago, there's this movie called Napoleon by this French guy, Abel Gance. Now, that movie was 5 hours long, and it's one of the movies that tries to show him as a romantic hero, as an amazing person, as an accomplisher. But this movie, this Ridley Scott movie, doesn't even bother to try and show how he was horrible. There's no insight. Like Eli was saying, we don't get that argument. Which is,
I think we have the... Can we show that we have the black and white? This is amazing footage of the other Napoleon. Can we show that?
Let's take a look.
Can we see
have
it?
That?
Oh, I don't know if it's going to come up.
We'll see. We'll
You'll
see
have
if
to
we got
imagine
that.
it.
Okay, Jackson, I have to ask you. Okay, first of all, 5'7" is pretty short. Like, I'm 5'7". I shouldn't have said that, but now everybody at home knows I'm TV sized. I'm tiny. But what did you think of Joaquin Phoenix's performance here?
I mean, the performance here is deeply odd. Napoleon was a deeply odd guy. I mean, again, going back to that Abel Gance movie, we show him as regal, as strong, as amazing, but this one has a more realistic depiction of how he actually was, and he would say strange things, but this is, again, like if you saw Beau is Afraid, this is just Joaquin Phoenix being weird without explanation on why he's weird.
Isn't that
he
Joaquin Phoenix, though?
he was like a god to France. He led thousands into battle. They went to Russia. Most didn't come back. There's no idea or insight in terms of why would anyone follow this man. It's such a strange performance in that he's aloof and insecure at the same time. At one time, he throws a fit with the British ambassador and he says, "You think you're so great because you have boats." It's like a teenager who didn't get the right iPad for Christmas, but it's Joaquin Phoenix playing the God Emperor of France.
Okay, how does the military brilliance kind of play out?
So this is the one part of the movie where it's like Ridley Scott, who is 85, like wakes up out of his director's chair and goes, "Okay, I have something to say. Let me show you an amazing moment. Russia and Austria trying to put France in its place, but there's a trap." Take a look.
And then the infantry, take their position on the higher ground. Cavalry from the west, pierce their flanks! Victory!
So it's this amazing moment, and then what happens next? You see, they lured them onto the ice. He's got cannons. They're covered with canvas. Uncover the cannons. Start blasting. It is blood and chaos. This is Ridley Scott at his best. But even there, Travis, we see the what, but not the how. I want someone explaining, like, okay, what did he see? What was it about the brain under the hat that might not have been that short, but evidently was genius that allowed him to do that? So just a beguiling, bizarre performance.
A beguiling, bizarre performance. Okay, gentlemen, real quick. Ratings.
All right.
Ratings, I mean, there's a great quote about Napoleon by one of his generals. He believed there was a battle because that's what he required, and he believed he would win because that's what he needed. We don't get that battle in this movie, and I gotta give it a low 2.5-star rating out of 5. We don't get that insight.
And I'm going just a little higher for the battles and giving them the benefit of the doubt with 3 out of 5. But those animated horses are lovely, so maybe we should just watch that instead.
How tall are you, by the way, Jackson?
6'2", I think.
6'2".
Maybe on a good day.
Yeah, that is tall. 5'7", short. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Eli Glasner, Jackson Weaver.